Help me grow, fast or slow, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Help me learn, soft or stern, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Life's a movie, the ultimate trip. You should have been told you'd be digging for gold. Hello, my friends, and welcome once again to Digging for Gold. I'm Dan Goldberg, as you probably know if you've been watching and listening to our podcast. And don't forget, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Spotify, and we're basically on all the audio platforms for podcasts. And the easiest way to do it is to go to dangoldberg.com, go to the bottom of the front page, and click on all the icons. Now we got something for all of you to learn from. A guest who's going to teach you how to secure your money, get houses, make sure you keep your money, build investments, and just hopefully, if you follow her lead, become a wealthy person.
Yes.
Welcome to Crista Lowrie.
Thank you. Thank you for
Krista,
having
how
me.
are you? Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
great. And I remember that we were talking to Dave Seawood. You remember Dave, right?
Yes.
He was on our podcast.
Yep.
And he was talking about he had a special person that handled all the finances and mortgages and so
Mortgages,
forth.
yep.
And it was you. He put me in touch
Yes.
with you.
Yes.
So now we're going to teach people how to buy houses,
Yes.
how to keep those houses, how to buy duplexes, how to make
Buy
money.
more houses.
And buy more houses.
Buy more houses.
That's right. It's great. My house is not for sale, so don't sell the house.
Mine is not either.
Okay, so we'll have to buy other houses.
Additional
right?
houses, yeah.
But before we get into that, okay, you have an amazing story about your parents.
I do.
Your mom had built a $3.5 billion company.
She did.
Regina Lowrie.
Yes. God rest her soul.
God
Yes.
rest her soul. May her memory be a blessing.
Yes.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about her.
So my mother was a stay-at-home mom when I was younger, which was amazing. She didn't get into the workforce until, I was in my teens. And she started working for the credit department at Sears, answering the calls and trying to help people who didn't understand why their payment was being marked late, things like that. Anyway, fast forward to she started working at Commonwealth Federal Savings Bank.
I remember it.
And she worked her way up to running the mortgage department. I was in middle school, high school at that point. So after school, I'd be at the bank, sitting, on the floor of the cubbies doing my homework. Me and my brother were there. And I pretty much grew up in this,
Wow.
atmosphere. Fast forward down the line, my mom in 1994 started a company called Gateway Funding. She was the first woman-owned president of a national mortgage company. She had 800 employees.
Wow.
It was a huge company, and that's where I started working for her.
Gateway
Funding.
Gateway Funding.
It was in Fort Washington. And or Horsham, I guess it was called.
In the Philadelphia area.
Yep,
so
in the
people-
local
yeah.
Philadelphia area. Yep, and it was a national company.
Right.
So we had branches all across the country, and obviously I was in this Philadelphia region. Started out as a processor for her. Just doing paperwork, waitressing, going to college, and at one point I was like, "Mom, I feel like I would be a better loan officer because I want to help these people and, help these people through the process, help them buy a house. Can I be a loan officer? Instead of just pushing the paperwork." So she helped me. She mentored me, really taught me the business, and I'm definitely blessed for that.
That's great.
Fast forward 31 years later, I worked for my mom pretty much up until the last 13 years. She owned a company.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
She spoke on Capitol Hill. She was the first woman president of the National Mortgage Bankers Association. First woman. That was
Wow.
major.
That is major.
Yeah.
So you grew up with your mentor right in the house.
Right in the house.
And she knew everything about mortgages.
She knew everything. She literally, she often would say to me, like, "Do you want to take this over? You want to, take this company over and you be the boss, And I said, no, not really. I want to be in the trenches with the people.
Right.
It's a lot more work, but I don't want to sit behind the desk and I want to be in the trenches.
So what happened to the company?
She sold her first company right before the crash.
In
Everyone
2000
else was doing...
In the 80s? The crash in the 80s?
No.
Or
2006.
Yeah.
Everyone that was around her was doing these subprime mortgages. She didn't want to get involved with that,
Smart.
So she sold her company at that point and started another company called Vision Mortgage Capital.
Wow.
And a lot of the people, lots of people that were at Gateway Funding went with her to the new company. And then she did that, probably until 13 years ago, basically.
Wow.
And then she retired. But she really didn't retire. Then she started another company called Dytrix, which was a company that protected wires for wire fraud. So she just couldn't get out of the whole business. And then she passed away, unfortunately. But she would have been still going.
Well, it's a disease. That's what I always tell people. I've said it many, many times on this podcast, that entrepreneurs have a dis-ease. It's a disease. They're never at ease.
Right.
They're always trying to do, I know it because I live it, okay?
Yeah.
We're always trying to do something. This podcast is part of my disease,
Yeah.
right? I got to always come up with something new, something fun, something I enjoy
Well, if you
doing.
have a lot of knowledge and you want to share it, and it's
You do
definitely-
it.
Yeah, you do it.
Because eventually you're gone.
Right.
So you may as well enjoy it.
Yes, for sure.
Now, before we went on camera, we also talked about your dad,
Yeah.
the physicist turned pro golfer.
Yes. My dad, my parents married young, and my dad was a pro golfer in his 20s. And then got married, worked as a computer programmer for many years, but loved golf, loved physics, had a physics degree. And fast forward all these years later, he still teaches physics for high schools that their physics teacher's going on maternity leave or, whatever. He just loves it so much. He loves physics. And he also opened a golf club in the last couple of years.
Wow.
So, he's living the dream, essentially.
Yeah, it's great. And when you hit a golf ball, it's all about physics.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your father would.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah, it's all about the angle, the depth, the
loves it.
speed, all that. And it's the same way with baseball, which is my
Awesome.
game, and I love it. And by the way, today, Phillies pitchers and catchers report.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yes, there's hope in the future. Okay?
Yes. It's coming.
It is coming. I can't wait. Really, seriously. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So you got a physicist and a financial entrepreneur
Yes.
and a golf pro.
Yep.
So no wonder you know what you're doing when it comes to money, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
I would think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all right. So
But
now-
I had a mentor, she
you did have
mentored
a
me like,
mentor. Yeah.
if I didn't have that, and in my business and my mortgages, life business 31 years, I just see
Wait a
how
minute.
many people
You're
don't.
in business for 31 years?
31 years.
And you're only 35. So I wanted to see the first person who came in and talked to this
God.
little 4-year-old girl
I wish I
about
was.
getting a mortgage.
I wish I was, but no, I'm older than that. But yeah, I 31 years. I came out of college and just went right to it. So
Where'd you go to college?
Montgomery County Community
Oh,
College.
yes, I know it well. It's not far from here.
Yeah.
We get in a car and be 15 minutes away, right?
Yeah, my mom actually named. I was an art student. It's a funny story. I loved art. I still love art, but I had applied at Tyler School of Art.
Oh, yeah, Temple.
At the same time, my mom was opening her company, and I got in Tyler School of Art at the same time my mom's company opened. And I said, "Mom, what do you think I should do? Go to art school or come and work for you?" And she goes, "Well, how much money do you think you're going to make drawing pictures?" And I said, "Okay." So I didn't go to Tyler School of Art. However, my mom was on the board at Montgomery County Community College, Gwen and Mercy. And so for my love of art, she named the art barn. She donated the money to build the art barn at Montgomery County Community College.
Wow.
So it's called the Lowrie Mezzanine.
Wow, so I guess it was very difficult for you to get in there.
Well, then they made a program, a BFA program,
Oh.
and they said, come back and get your, Bachelor's of Fine Arts. And I never had time because I'm busy helping families,
You could get a BFA there?
Yeah. Now
That's
you can.
pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
My mom was instrumental in helping that.
That is a community college that gives you a bachelor's.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
In fine arts, yeah.
So, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
People out there listening to us, younger people, older people,
Yes.
but especially people that want to buy their first homes. And I know you're an expert in this.
I am an
Okay.
expert.
Yeah. What would you advise them? How would they be able to buy a home if they've never bought a home before? If they want to buy a second home?
Yeah.
Build wealth. Okay.
It's a process.
This is it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
I
process.
want to hear it.
It's a process. And I was just saying a few minutes ago that I saw on the news recently that the average first-time home buyer is 40 years old. I mean, that's a really sad state of affairs, in my opinion. I bought
is.
my first place when I was 23. And to me, maybe it was because I was in the business and I saw what my mom did that it wasn't even, I moved out of her house and I'm like, well, I got to buy a house. Like, I can't rent.
Right.
Renting is a waste of money. So I went right into home ownership. And through the years, I've seen older and older 50-year-old, 60-year-old people trying to buy their first house.
Wow.
And what happens when the older people buy their first house is that they're bypassing the starter home.
Yeah.
And the starter home is where you gain, this equity position, which then can be sold later, and a big chunk of money can be put down on your next home. And that's how you keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it all starts with that first home. And fast forward to that, getting your credit in order. A lot of people, we were saying, graduate college and they have no credit score, or they have a bad credit score.
Or they have debt.
They have a lot of debt. They have student loans. They went to college the first day and there was a table that said, free credit card, free interest for 6 months. They don't know how to use it. So they spent it all up, but they didn't have any income coming in to pay it. And so they come to me, fast forward down the line, they want to buy a house. And I'm like, 50% of the people that apply, I can't help. I have to
Wow.
put them on a plan.
Wow.
So if I have 100 people a month that are coming to me to buy a house that are applying, 50 of them are not going to get approved.
Wow.
And that's sad.
That is very sad.
I feel like it starts at home, but getting your credit in order is the first thing possible. That's learning how to use credit.
Yeah.
That's getting a credit score, a credit card. It's not overutilizing credit, opening a bunch of loans. And, some of the loans that are out there, they call them credit builders, like a firm or self or BMG money. I advise against those things because they're short-term, little loans. It's an inquiry on your credit report. It's a new debt, and then it's going to pay off in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
All three of those things are bad things for your credit. So
Wow. Or credit cards that give you like $1,000.
Best thing to do is get a credit card with $1,000
Yep.
and spend $300
And pay
max
it right off.
a month. Credit bureaus report the highest balance that you spent in a month. So if your limit is $1,000, you don't want to spend more than 30% of the limit in a month. And yes, then pay it off, do it again next month. And that's just how it keeps going. And if you do that, you'll have a good credit score. So that's step one. Then you come over to me. Obviously, you need a job, 2-year work history. College does count as part of that 2-year work
Really?
history. So if you go to college and you graduate and then you grab a job, we can get you a house. So
You hear that?
that's the next step.
Go to college, get a house.
Go to college as soon as you're done, come and get a job, and then come and get a house.
What about the military, if you're in the military?
Military counts too.
Yeah, that's
Military counts too, yes. And
So I
then,
should be able to get 2 houses then.
yes. Well, one at a time. Let's start with one at a time. So then they come over to me, they apply. I take a look at the credit report. Ideally, I say, yay, the credit's good. We can work with that. Sometimes I say, no, here's what you got to do. Here's the problem. Here's how you fix it. And then I look and see what kind of mortgage for first-time home buyers. There's so many programs out there for first-time home buyers. There's free grant money for first-time home buyers. I mean, upwards of $40,000 in free
Really?
money. Yeah. My average people last year got $40,000. Free money that doesn't have to be paid back. Free money.
Through the government.
Through different things, but yeah. State agencies, federal agencies, but yeah.
Wow.
How can you
Pretty
say no
good.
to that?
You
know,
can't. You can't.
I teach a home buyer workshop in Philadelphia. You can get a $10,000 grant. It's called the Philly First Grant.
If you get a house in Philly.
In Philadelphia, $10,000. So in order to be a part of that program, you have to take a 4-hour home buyer counseling class. I teach a lot of those classes as the lender portion, okay? And one of the questions I ask everybody when I do these classes is, what's the reason that you don't already own a house? And most of the time, it's I'm worried about my credit or I don't have enough money saved. Those are the two things, and those are the two things I can help with. How to fix
Wow.
your credit, and I can give you your down payment. I can even pay part of your closing costs with these grants. So
where do the other monies come from?
on average, just for quick math, right? If you buy a house for $200,000, it's about $25,000 out of pocket, includes your down payment and your closing cost. $25,000.
And you can help them get that.
So the question is, where are we going to find this money? You have $2,000. Okay, fine. Let me see if I can find the rest for you.
Wow.
That's what I do all day long,
That is good.
every day.
You find them the 25 grand, the 40 grand. By the way, you have $20 on you? I could use a loan.
I do. if you need it, yes.
Okay.
No, yeah. I mean, it's I find out I'm a problem solver. That's what I have
Great.
designated myself as, and I really do enjoy it. It's almost like it's fun to me. Like,
Yeah.
how do I fix this?
It's
How do I fix this problem?
investigations.
Yeah.
It's figuring things out.
And then I teach people. I'm like, okay, well, listen, you got to get your first house. You got to stay there a year or however long it is. Save up some money for the second one, and then you go get the next one, And after all these years in business, I have so many clients, thousands of clients, and a lot of them they're like mini me's. They're doing exactly what I've taught them through the years.
I'm loving this.
And then
This is great.
Fast forward even later than that, the kids, the people I did loans for 20 years ago who had a 1-year-old and now their kid's 22, they're coming to me as well. So
Wow.
when you talk about generations, like I'm educating these people, I'm sticking by these people. If your mom dies and you don't know what to do, you can call me. I can help you. Maybe you're not going to get a loan from me, but I can help you figure out the finances. You need somebody in your life like that. And I consider myself that person for all my
Wow.
clients.
Wow. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really phenomenal. So you start this what's the name of the business?
That I work for?
Yeah.
First Citizens Community Bank.
First Citizens Community Bank.
Yep.
FCCC.
FCCB.
That's what I said. FCCB.
Yep.
I'm slow on the uptake.
FCCB.
I was never good at alphabet.
It's okay.
Never good at alphabet. But
FCCB.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
FCCB.
Yep.
Okay. Why did I get to C? I was just ahead of myself.
I'm not sure that many people know where I work, to be honest with you. I
Really?
mean, I'm out there. They know my name. They know my picture. My cell phone's been the same for 31 years.
No.
I don't know that it necessarily makes a difference where I work, as long as
It
I work at a
doesn't.
place that can provide
If you can get them
excellent
money.
service and everything that I want. And FCCB does have everything I'm looking for, which is why I'm here.
FCCB.
Yep.
Not to be confused with FCCC, which is a whole different other thing.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't even
Yeah.
know it, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So I was reading through the book.
Yes.
Okay. And the first chapter is opening doors, and I got it here, I brought my notes, to home ownership.
Yep.
Okay.
That was a tagline of my mom's company.
That's pretty good.
I love it, and it's actually the title of my book, Opening Doors to Homeownership.
Wow. Yes, it is.
I love it.
Now, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you just saw the book. Where can they get the book?
Amazon.
Like
It's on
everything
Amazon.
else. Can I buy? They can even probably get a house on Amazon soon.
You can get a mini house on Amazon, I
You
think.
can,
I think you can
Little
get
tiny
like a
one,
Lego
little
one.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, but this is on Amazon, and it's cheap.
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive. I'm not trying to make money on the book, but I'm trying to educate people
It's great.
on how they can be multi-home owners.
Okay, so now I want to get into that.
Yeah.
Okay, because the analytical edge in your corner. Okay, that's what I wrote here.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do people figure out how to begin to build the wealth? And you talked about getting your first home and then living in that for a year and getting your next home.
Yep.
Sometimes that means selling the first home, and sometimes it means keeping the first home.
Yeah.
So how do they
Ideally,
build it?
I've owned about 19 houses in my lifetime, and for various reasons had to sell houses. Hindsight being 2020, I shouldn't have, but just circumstances that arose. But if I was to do it again, or I'm teaching my children,
Right.
you know, you buy your first house with the free money, the grants, the first-time
yeah.
home buyers, whatever you can get. A mortgage document says, I intend to live there for a year.
Really?
That's what it says. I intend to live there for a year.
Wow.
So if something happens and you get a job transfer in a year, you know, you can buy another house, essentially.
Wait, you can buy another house, but what happens to the first house?
So it depends. It depends on what happens to the first house. So I'm a big proponent of buying a duplex the first time around.
I love that.
I didn't do it, but I do encourage people to do it.
Well, I got a question for you. For those of you, and there may be people who don't know what a duplex is.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know, because in Philly, they're all over the place.
It's pretty common, yeah.
Yeah, but
A duplex is one building. It looks like a house, but it actually is two residences, two separate parcel numbers, two addresses. They're just attached.
yeah, one may be on the first floor, one may
Yeah,
be on the
and
second floor.
so in the like I had a triplex. Okay, so I was attached to a bunch of other things, but in my one building, there was 3 levels, and
Mm-hmm.
each level was their own unit. So unit 1, unit 2, and unit 3.
Right, but they
so-
rented. They rented.
Yes.
Right.
But I bought it as a triplex, which was a 3-unit encased property. So I would live in one and then rent out the other 2. So let's just say your mortgage payment is going to be $2,000 a month, and you have $1,500 of rent coming in from the other units. Your part's only going to be $500 a month. So
It's pretty good.
that's
Yeah, I
that's
like
really
that.
good. So if you can start out with a duplex with very little money out of pocket, going forward, you do need to save money because the second time around you're not going to get grant money, but you can.
In any area?
Not in every circumstance, but for the most part, if you do plan to buy a house every year or two or continually buy houses, you need to stay there for a year, and then you need to have money for the down payment for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do minimum down 5%. You know, you can ask the seller to pay some of the closing costs for you. So it's still relatively cheap. You can use 401k withdrawal to do it.
There's something that's close to my heart, and that is veterans benefits.
Yes.
Okay? So suppose you're a veteran and you buy a home without VA loan or anything like that, which I'm sure I would think that you
can do.
get involved in. Okay. So you buy that house and you get the 40 grand and whatever, and you buy a second house. Can you then use VA benefits to buy the second house?
Yes,
You can.
Yes.
Okay. I should have known that, but
you can.
just double checking.
Yeah.
So you can.
And then you
really
can do an
start
FHA
home-
loan on another one. You know, you can have one
Yeah.
FHA, you can have one VA. Conventional loans, you can have up to 10 financed properties.
Really?
So really 8 conventional loans, maybe one VA, one FHA if you're a veteran. Yeah, Fannie Mae guidelines are 10 financed properties.
Wow.
And then after you get past that, then there's other things that you can do. But yeah,
It's incredible. And I would venture to say that most of the people watching, the vast, huge majority of people, don't know this.
yeah.
And you're learning now from Krista, who's the guru in this stuff.
And honestly, when they come around to buy the second house, if it's at all possible to keep the first house, I suggest that. Because now we're going to have rental income. We can offset your new, loan with some rental income that offsets the payment on the first house. So This is building generational wealth, which is, I think, super important because this is what you pass down to your children,
Right.
you know, your family.
So I guess you could look at vacation homes in the same way, right?
Vacation homes are a little bit different as far as it's a 10% down instead of 5% down.
Okay.
And it still counts within the 10 financed properties. But yeah, there's different categories. So there's primary residence, which means you're going to live there
Right.
for at least a year.
Okay.
And then there's a second home, which is typically 100 miles away. Or in this area, in the Philadelphia area, it would be like the Jersey Shore.
Which is like 60 miles away.
It is, but because it's a shore area,
Yeah,
that
it
counts.
counts.
Or like the Poconos.
Right.
Or Lake Wallenpaupack, that's another like resort-ish
Right,
area,
right.
vacation area. And then there's people that go to Florida. You know, there's people that go to South Carolina. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
other second home locations. And then the third one would be an investment property. And that would be a property that you are not planning to live in. That's
Okay.
20% down. So it's a bigger
So it's a
deposit.
5%, 10%, and 20%.
Well, FHA, well, first of all, VA 0% down.
Right.
No down payment for our veterans. FHA loans are 3.5% down. For a conventional loan with first-time buyer, 3% down. Any subsequent properties, 5% down, as long as you're going to live in them. Primary
Okay.
residence,
But for the vacation home, it's more,
10% down.
10% down. So you could theoretically buy a house for, I don't know, even a condo it counts, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a $200,000 condo for 20 grand,
Yep.
and then rent it out.
No, that would be
You
a
gotta live
second
there.
home.
You
That'd
gotta
be
be a second home. Okay.
Second
I'm learning.
home, you, and as per the IRS, I'm not exactly sure, but you can rent it out like 2 or 3 weeks
A year.
before it becomes an investment property. But mortgage fraud is a thing that's
Right.
happening more and more out there, and companies
Right.
are catching on to it. So if you buy a second home,
Tell us about that mortgage fraud. Yeah.
if you plan to buy a second home with me as a second home, and then you plan to VRBO it or Airbnb it every
Right.
weekend,
Yeah.
that's an investment property,
Okay.
and they can get you on that. And that's mortgage fraud. And mortgage fraud at this point is you can be
Pervasive.
imprisoned for it.
Yeah. So
We want to stay away from that.
we do want to stay away. Prison is not. Listen, there's
No.
no money down, and you get to live there, but you don't want to be there. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't want to be in prison. No.
But
We
the
got to be
question is,
ethical.
let's go back to that. Okay. I want to make sure everybody's clear, including myself. So you buy a house down the shore. You buy a
Yes.
condo down in the New Jersey shore, or Florida, or
Wherever.
not. I don't know who's buying in California, but maybe California. Okay. So so you buy that, and to prevent mortgage fraud, because I'm sure that there are people that do things they don't even realize it,
Right.
And they're caught in a mortgage fraud scandal.
Oh, I let my clients know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's important.
It's important to deal with the right people.
So if this is your vacation home, I'm repeating, I hope I got it right, you cannot do what?
You cannot rent more than a certain amount of weeks out and then file it on your tax return on a Schedule E as having rental income,
Okay.
because you could be caught for that,
And that-
essentially.
Oh, I get it. And how many weeks is that?
I think it's 2 to 3 weeks
2 to 3
maximum.
weeks. And you better report it.
Yeah, there's been some cases of mortgage fraud with the in the government, where there was a woman who bought 4 properties as owner occupied, but they were all in different states with different mortgage companies, and it was found out that you can't live in all these places at the same time.
No, unless you're a hologram.
Right. So I know that that was being looked at, and so it's just bringing the topic of,
Yeah, wait,
You know.
she was in the government.
yeah, she was in the government.
She was in the. I want you to listen to this. She was in the government
Yeah.
and should have known
Should
that
have
you
known.
can't live in 4 places at
She
one
was
time.
working in the department that manages that too, by the way. So
Well, I think there's a term, a legal term for that. I think it's called a moron. Am I correct?
Well, something of that nature,
So,
yeah.
yes, I think moron was the
Yeah.
actual technical term.
Yeah.
You got to be a moron to do that.
Yeah.
When you work in the place that
That puts the rules
oversees
out,
that
yes.
and puts the rules out, and you break the rule completely.
Some people think they don't apply.
I get that.
That's what I guess, but
I get.
there's plenty of ways to do it, to do everything the right way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They don't
And,
apply.
and after a year, you know, all bets are off. So if you buy your second home and then 12 months have gone by and you want to rent it out at that point,
You mean
have at it.
even a vacation home? That's different.
the mortgage says, I intend to live there for a year. If you change it up later,
So if
12
you buy a
months.
vacation home and you vacay there for a year while you're still living in Philly,
Right.
okay? After that year, you can rent it out
yeah,
to as many people as you want,
yeah.
as many weeks as you want.
As long as you
Put it on your
follow.
taxes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I'm the kind of person that reads between the lines because some people, underwriters are an example of that. They read it and they're like, okay, this is what it says. And I read it and I say, well, I see it like this. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So I've read a mortgage document and it says, I intend to live there for a year. And that's what I tell people.
So I would suggest, this is just a suggestion, if you are thinking about buying a vacation home, a second home, or a first home, to speak to Crista Lowrie first.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Because you don't want to, like, the federal government's going, excuse me, you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, I didn't know it. Well, enjoy your time at Graterford.
Yeah, no, it's
That's a
it's
prison
definitely.
in Philly.
There's a couple other lawsuits that the government has against big companies for companies
I
that
heard that.
continually do that kind of stuff. I won't mention who, but I just see stuff all the time. So it's very important to be honest with your lender
Yeah.
and to be forthright of what you're doing. And I catch people all the time. Somebody just applied on my website this week and wanted a 3-unit with 5% down, and there's a box that says, will you live there? No. So immediately, I pick up the phone and I say, hey, did you fill this out wrong, or are you going to live there or no? No, I'm not going to live there. I said, okay, well, you need 20% down then. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, well, wait a second. So these are conversations people don't understand.
Oh, yeah. Wait a second. Yes, I am. I meant yes, I am. Right.
Right? And so that's why we have to really look at it and
Okay.
say, does it make sense? So then I say, okay, well, you live in a $500,000 house, and you're telling me that you're going to move you and the wife and the 3 kids into this 1 unit of a 3-unit building where there's 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom? It's not going to make sense.
Right.
It has to make sense, you know? And that's usually where we can help these people explain the difference. And they already had a house. So what I suggested to fix that situation is, hey, listen, why don't we take some money out of your house, pull some money out, you have equity, and then the legal way, have you put your 20% down on your investment property.
Right.
So now you have the best of both worlds.
And you're not going to prison.
And you're not going to get in trouble.
Right. So this is so cool. I mean, it's great stuff because then you can have that second house, okay, while the 2 other people are paying off the mortgage and helping you pay off maybe the equity
Yeah.
that the equity loan that you got. And then that 3 triplex is building equity.
Right.
So then when it comes to that next one, you can pull money out of that one to pay for the.
I have a guy right now. He's one of my. I would say, he's a fantastic, just business guy. Does it all by the books. About every 12 months, he buys a duplex.
Really?
He moves all his stuff, moving trucks and all, and he moves into the duplex. Lives there for a year. Calls me up. Okay, it's time. Buys another one. Moves again. Like doing it the right way. And I think he's got 4 or 5. He's working on his 5th at this point. But young guy.
Married?
No.
So you can do that.
He can do that, but I'm saying he's building a
Yeah,
wealth
yeah.
of properties, and his thought is that when these mortgages are paid off by the tenants, he's going to have this residual income coming in,
Absolutely.
kind of like what we're getting, the pittance you're going to get on Social Security. You have a
Right.
whole nother stream of income coming in to.
Right. How did you know that my Social Security was a pittance?
I know that
It's
everybody's.
amazing. You really must
Everybody's
have
is
the
a
ESPN.
pittance. Yeah, I see it. Doesn't go up very high. Doesn't go up very much every year. Not for the cost of inflation.
So if I am correct, I recall that the government is trying to prevent major corporations from buying up all these homes and then selling them to people or renting them out. Am I correct?
Yeah, but not like the guy I just talked about. We're talking about big corporations
That's what
that
I
are
mean,
buying
yeah.
blocks and acres and towns almost
Right.
of property.
Yeah.
Like BlackRock, for example, they buy all this property. They're trying to stop that so that the little guys can come in.
Yeah.
So that would help.
Yeah, because when you're buying your first house at 40,
Yeah.
30, late 30s, early 40s, it used to be the American dream. I remember I bought my first house in my 20s.
Yeah.
And it was,
I mean, the
yeah.
problem with if you buy a house in your 20s and you stay there for 10 years, chances are you're going to have $100,000 to put down on another house if you want, or pull
Yeah.
out or put
Yeah.
down,
It's true.
And then you can get this dream house that you want. The problem is they're coming to me at 35, 40 wanting this dream house, but they have nothing to put down. And they have no savings because they've been paying rent for 10 years.
So that dream is really a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then the other problem is that if it's a husband and wife and they've succeeded in their careers, they might now be over the income limit to be able to get some of the free grant money for first-time home buyers.
Okay.
Because there's a limit.
But what is the limit? What
So
are the
on the
limits?
very top one I have, it's $200,000.
You can't make any more than 200,000.
But
Okay.
that one comes with a higher interest rate, and there's many better ones if you can be in a lower bracket. But some of those brackets cut off at 137, 150. So if you have two professionals, I have a funny story. I have I don't ever give up on people. If you're not ready now, I will help you get ready if it takes 10 years. And I had a client that it took 10 years. When I first met them, the credit was bad. They had just came out of college. They were not making very much money. Every year I talked to them, almost there, but you got to keep doing some more stuff, fix your credit, whatever. By the time they were ready, when they were 10 years later, they were both making like $140,000 a year. Like they made it.
Right.
They
made it.
succeeded.
Yeah.
But they had been in an apartment all this time. And they
No
wanted the
equity.
$600,000 house. So luckily they had saved enough to be able to put 5% down. They saved their $40,000, but they bypassed everything that they could have gotten for free because of being over that threshold with the income. So there's a sweet spot, It may not be 20, but it's lower than 30 where we need to try to get people in, is my mission.
So do you ever have couples that aren't married?
Oh,
Okay. And let's say one of them makes 250
Yep.
and the other one makes 85.
Yep.
Would it make sense to have the 85,000 earner buy the house and they move in because the sweet spot is the 85?
See, that goes into
Does that go into
the
mortgage
frauds
fraud?
situation again.
Okay.
Unless they're getting divorced, and I say that right out.
But suppose they're not even married.
That's different.
They're not married.
If you have two unmarried people that don't share joint bank accounts, then I say, Linda, you're going to buy the house yourself, and Joe's not going to move in with you. Okay, that's
He's not going to move in with you?
Yeah, because these programs go by household income. Who's going to be in the house?
So she's going to have to
She has to understand that Joe can't live there, and
But-
most of the time they understand that. They're
And they
engaged
didn't-
people.
So what do they do? How do they he lives next door or something?
They say okay. They sign a paper, and then I don't see them again. Really, I don't go see the houses.
Well, here's a question for all of you romantic people out there who aren't married. So what was her name? Linda?
Linda and Joe.
Linda and Joe. So Linda makes 85 grand. She's in the sweet spot.
Yes.
She wants to buy a duplex.
Yes.
Okay. She buys the duplex and rents to Joe,
Totally doable.
who actually winds up sleeping with Linda.
That's a really good analogy of probably what people do. Yeah. Now, there is something to say that if you do have two people like that and they're married and they're getting divorced and the woman is trying to get away from Joe, okay, and that's called separated, I can just do the loan for Linda and we write a letter that says, I'm separated, I'm getting away from this guy, he's not going to live with me in the new house.
Wow.
That's another way to do it. But if they are married and together and happy, and they're posting selfies on Facebook, and I know that they're happy, like that couple makes too much for everything.
So in other words, that couple gets screwed because they fell in love and got married, when what they really should have done is just said...
they should have bought houses first in their 20s.
That's it. Should have bought the houses first.
They should have
in their
bought the
20s.
houses first. I often tell people, like, you want to buy a car? You're going to buy the house first. Don't ever buy a car before a house. You buy the house first, then you buy the car. Same thing with getting married, I feel like. Get your house first. You both could get two houses. You both live at your mom's, both get yourself a house. And in a year, you can reconvene. You're not living together now.
But you can come over.
Come and hang out.
Come over. I went to high school,
Netflix
folks.
and chill.
I figured that out, okay? So, this is so cool. I mean, there's so many things that people don't know.
No.
But if you're making, let's say, $250 and the household income is $300, you're over this threshold and you're screwed.
You're not getting anything. You're not getting anything.
What a disincentive to
And
make
if you didn't buy a
good living.
house, then you've paid someone else $2,000 a month in rent. So you paid, if you were there 10 years, you paid a couple $100,000 to someone else's rent, someone else's mortgage,
Yeah.
while your income was going up. You have no tax write-off.
Right.
It's travesty.
So, here's another question for us older people.
Yeah.
What happens if you no longer have a mortgage? All you have is a house.
What about it? You want to take some money out?
You could do that, right?
Yeah, you
But
could
then
take
you have
some out.
another mortgage.
You do, but what I do for older folks is do a 30-year payment. Make the payment real low for them. Give them their money. A lot of these people, they pay off their house, and they're like, I'm going to give it to my kids. Okay, great. When they pass, they're going to give it to their kids. But they're struggling. They're struggling to pay the taxes. They're struggling to put food on the table. And I say, you shouldn't struggle to leave this to your children. Let me give you some money that you can put in the bank. We'll make the payment real small. You can pull that payment from the money I gave you for, however I figure it out, 120 months, whatever. And now you're comfortable.
So that's the equity you built in the house.
And that's what the goal is, yeah.
Now, what is a reverse mortgage?
A reverse mortgage is where someone's paid off the house and they're of a certain age, over 59, I think, or 62 years old.
That's a kid to me, by the way.
And they don't have a lot of income, maybe on a fixed income or a pension or something. The bank will. I don't do those, but I can refer to someone if you need that. But you take the money out of the house, same thing as you do with like a regular loan. But instead of making a payment on the loan, so instead of making a $500 payment, that $500 payment that should be made is added onto the balance. So if you borrow $100, in 10 years you might owe $120. It's a reverse. It's going the reverse way. Instead of paying it down, you're increasing what you owe.
But we see all these ads on TV with Tom Selleck and people
Yeah.
like that. He's selling reverse mortgages.
Yeah, because you, the homeowner, the aged homeowner, doesn't have to make a payment. The payment's being added to the balance every single month.
And what happens when you die?
Whatever's owed on it, the kids sell the house, whatever's owed on it, which if you mom borrowed $100, now she owes $200. $200 is what gets paid off. So basically,
Wow.
the kids, equity or the kids' inheritance got taken away. That's why you got to take care of your parents.
You do have to take it. You hear that?
Maybe have your parents move in with you. Rent out your
That's what I-
parents' house.
That's what I told my mother. She didn't want to do it, but I told
They
her.
don't want to do it, but
The line is, I don't want to be a burden.
right.
That's what you always hear.
Just
but
say,
I always
listen, then
say,
you
"But you're
you
my
cook the
friend."
dinner.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
do the laundry.
You do 2 for 2.
Give her some jobs.
Exactly. Just being mom, that's cool. Just being
Yeah.
dad, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
Yeah.
all right. So we've covered now reverse mortgages and we've covered first time buyers, right? And
Yeah.
old heads like me.
Yeah.
But what is the most common mortgage?
Well, I do all kinds of mortgages for the $1 million buyers to the home equity loans to everything in between. I personally have stuck with and spent my career with the first time buyers
Okay.
purposely and it's a lot more work. It's a lot more work. These first time buyers need a lot more help and it's a lot more time that I have to spend. However, I am putting them on the path to greatness, to owning more than one
great.
house,
Yeah.
to being independently wealthy at the age of 70 years old.
Wow.
So I love the first-time home buyers. Like I said, I teach classes in the city all the time.
It's very interesting to me that people don't know about this. Most people don't, but now they do.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
and
they
a lot of loan officers like myself may try to stay away from this market
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot more work. It's a lot more hand-holding. It's a lot more education.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just was saying that I'm going to put together a class for people with bad credit.
Oh,
Now, imagine that. I'm not going to get paid on that at all
no.
because those
Nobody
people
has
aren't.
any money.
They're not going to be able to buy a house. But you know what's going to happen is I'm going to teach these people how to manage their life and how to manage credit, and then next year, instead of denying 50% of the people, I hope to approve 75 to 80% of the
Beautiful.
people.
It's long-term
So
thinking, yeah.
it's really, you know, my kids say to
That
me
is
all the time,
great.
my kids, as far as what you should do if you have children, is at 16 years old, they should open a credit card. You should put them on your credit card as an authorized user. The reason for that is because by the time they're 18, they'll have developed a score, a credit score. And then when they go to apply for their first credit card on their own at 18, they'll get approved. Okay, so now they have 2 cards. Yours, so make sure it's a card you put them on that you pay on time and don't spend more than 30% of the limit. And then they're going to have their card going to do the same thing. Then 2 years from now, when they're done college or whatever they're doing, they're going to have a phenomenal credit score for their mortgage.
Right.
And then they're going to have a job. And then we're going to get them a house. So
Sounds like a plan to me.
it's a plan. And I've
Wow.
done it with two of my older kids at this point. And my daughter says to me, she's in college. She's 22. She's around other college students. And she says, Mom, I feel like I'm a teacher around here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm telling all my friends what to do. Like, they don't know what to do, what not to do. And I said, well, nobody taught them.
It's true.
No one
They
taught
don't.
them.
Yeah, it's true. People, they just don't know.
But-
Where were you 55 years ago when I could have...
The thing about the sad thing about it is some of these parents actually don't know.
I would say most of the parents
Some of
don't
the
know.
parents don't know either. So that's why I feel like education for me is another thing that I'm going to put out there is how to set your kids up. Like, it's got to start at a certain age and you
Yeah.
set them up. You know?
It's interesting. I'll never forget this. This was about mortgages. I had a friend, and she was looking for a house. And we went in the area, in the Philadelphia area. And we went to this development, and we walked in. And in those days, I don't know how much it was, 300,000, 400,000. Today, it'd be 600 or 700,000.
for sure.
Okay? And it was somebody selling a house. That's what it was.
Okay.
And it was one of those houses. And I said to the real estate agent, "There's no furniture in this house." And she said, "You'd be surprised how many people buy very expensive homes and then don't have the money to furnish them."
Yes. I've seen it. I've seen it because we get an appraisal on these properties. Yeah, you're right. No dining room table.
What do they eat, on the floor?
Yeah, no.
In the kitchen.
They need a massive house, and then there's just nothing filled in there.
Don't do that. I'm just telling
Yeah.
you, right? Don't do
Well,
that. It's not.
Don't be a pack rat either. I feel
Right.
like that's what I'm, pack rat.
Pack
I
rat.
have too many things.
Well, my wife will tell you the same thing about. Listen to her. It's okay. It's okay to be a pack rat.
Yeah.
But why do people do that? Why do people buy homes that they can't afford anything else but the mortgage?
Yeah.
Is it to impress their friends? They say, "Come on over, but don't walk in."
Well,
It's
I've
like-
noticed from just out there, like birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe you're right with that they need to keep up with the
The Joneses.
Joneses with that kind of stuff.
Now, talking about the Joneses, or the McDonald's, or the Schwartzes, or whatever, you go to these 55 and over communities, okay? Which I've just crossed that threshold about 30 years ago. But anyway, maybe less. But anyway, is there a certain criteria in there? Is there a certain criteria within HOAs and stuff, homeowners
Yeah.
association?
So
that-
55 plus is, a lot of them, I'm not saying most of them, a lot of them are okay. They're just handled like a condominium or a PUD, which is a planned unit development, something like a townhouse with a small fee.
Right.
Those are okay to get a financing on. There are other ones, though, and a lot of them are trailers or they're like manufactured homes. They're so cheap,
Yeah.
$30,000, $90,000. And the problem with them is you have to rent the ground.
Oh, right. Right.
So if you don't pay the rent on the ground, but you own that building that you bought for $90,000 and you don't pay the rent on the ground, they can kick you out, but your house is still there. So then what do you do? So they're not financeable through a
Okay.
mortgage.
Okay.
They would need a special special personal loan type financing.
But a regular 55 and over
Yeah,
community,
those are okay.
they're like condos, or you buy a house.
Some of them are condos. Some of them are a condoed out is just a type of like a term, meaning that there's things that are paid for, like grass is paid for. There's maybe a clubhouse. There's
Right.
a pool. Like there's different amenities. You get different homeowners insurance. You're only responsible for the walls in on a condo, But there are townhomes of such that are still 55 and over that are okay,
But then you have these HOA fees.
right?
They can kill you.
They can, and HOA fees, homeowners association fees are cheaper, because in those cases you have to mow your own grass or your little patch of grass, and if your siding falls off, you're responsible for it.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas with the condo, you're only responsible for the walls inside your unit.
Okay.
Walls in.
But don't you have to pay for landscaping and
No, not on a
maintenance?
condo.
No.
No, and if the siding blows off the building, the association pays for it. But condo fees are much more expensive.
That's what I mean.
They
Like,
pay for trash, they pay for water.
How much are the condo fees?
I have 2 condos, and they range from, one is like $475 a month right now.
Right.
The other one is probably $250 a month right now.
That's it.
But some of the ones for the 55, I mean, the ones that have a pool and a gym and a fitness area, there's a couple in Jenkintown, Cheltenham area that are $1,200 a month,
Plus your mortgage.
plus your mortgage.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
And if you're not a swimmer, you still got to pay for
or a
it.
gym buff.
Or a gym buff. Gym buff. Wow.
I mean, it's very
so
common in Center City, Philadelphia, where there's a lot of those higher end condos. They're not necessarily 55 plus, but if you are a doctor and you work at the hospital and you have weird hours and you need to be close to the hospital, some of those condos are perfect for
It's true.
somebody like that.
It's true. All this is so fascinating.
I want to put a shout out to that. For doctors, we offer no money down and no private mortgage insurance. We have a phenomenal doctor loan.
Really?
Yes.
Wait.
It's kind of
how's
like a
that work?
VA loan.
It is like a VA loan. And
No money down, and no private mortgage insurance. If you're a doctor, a bunch of kind of doctors, but yeah, it's called a physician loan.
Oh, they have to be, like, I'm a doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor.
They have to be that kind of a doctor, some
They have
sort
to be
of
physicians, right?
physician loan, yeah.
And why is that?
It's just, I mean, we love doctors like you, but
It's
it's
the other doctors.
a
that take it.
physician type loan, yeah.
Right. If you get sick and you need a doctor, you don't call me.
No,
I'll tell
I'm
you.
trying. There's different kinds of doctors. There's a whole list of ones that we do, like the nurse practitioner, things like that. There's
So, what do you call it? The physician's assistants and stuff.
all that.
So, is that federally funded?
No.
What is it?
It's just a loan my bank has.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's private.
Private.
So all those physicians out there and physicians' assistants and chiropractors, maybe, I don't know.
Chiropractors,
Yeah.
I think we can get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DOs, ODs. You got optometrists too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Healthcare professionals.
Pretty much. Not nurses, but any kind of physician in that line. I have a whole list of them if needed, but there's a lot of hospitals, in Center City, so I've done a few of them.
I
Done
have to
several
tell
of
you,
them.
If you're listening
Yeah.
or watching this podcast and you're a physician and you don't call Krista, maybe you should call a psychiatrist or something, right? So it's
Hashtag call Krista.
like call Krista.
It's true.
I was just kidding. I'm not saying you need a psychiatrist, but
No, but it's
you know.
amazing because a lot of doctors, especially if you're doing your residency,
Oh, yeah.
you might make $40,000 a year.
Yeah. And you're working 80 hours a week.
80 hours a week. You're not saving a lot of money. So as soon as you're done and you're ready to get your job making $250,000 a year, guess what? You don't have a down payment.
Right.
So that's where it's great for the no money down. Also, your $200,000 of student loans that you have, we're not going to kill you with that because we know
Right.
your income is going to continually increase.
Student loans. You
Yeah.
know, I get it. People who have student loans, they knew it going in
Right.
that they would have student loans. But it's the interest that bothers me
Yeah.
for people. It's like predatory interest.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to have interest that high or have interest. Even 1/4%, okay.
Yeah.
But you're borrowing it from the, this is just my opinion. You're borrowing it from the federal government.
It does hurt a lot of people, for
It
sure.
does. It's murder because you're told go to college, go to school.
Especially since COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my, I've never seen so many people with student loans at this point. We had to change the mortgage guidelines because of it, because it was really hindering what people could get.
Well, this is very important. How did you change the guidelines?
Well, it wasn't me per se, but it was, we used to take 1% of the balance as
The balance of,
the student loan,
oh, okay.
1% of the balance as the monthly payment. But the Federal Housing Administration, which is FHA, came out and said 0.5%. So, that's a lot better.
They lowered it.
They lowered it to 0.5%. And then on conventional loans, if your loans are on an income-based payment,
Right.
and say the payment is $5 or $0 or whatever, we can accept that.
Wow. This is important.
So that's a big deal because there's so many people, especially in the healthcare, like home health aides that want to become nurses and things like that. They're working full time and they're going to school. So student loans are piling up, but their incomes are not catching up. So this really does help those people.
This is great, and it's things that people don't know. I mean, I've wondered about that. How are students going to get houses, their first house? And you've given us a lot of information.
Thank you.
How do people get a hold of you?
My cell phone or my website is mortgagewithkrista.com.
Mortgagewithkrista.com. Hold up the book again, if you would, Krista. See that book? If you can't see it because you're on Spotify, it says Crista Lowrie, Opening Doors to Home Ownership. senior mortgage consultant and mentor. And the phone number is right on there.
Yeah. Phone number is 215-498-1516. And you could also just Google my name, Crista, which is Crista. Last name is Lowrie. And you will find pages of me. You'll find my cell phone. I'm all there.
And you'll find the website. What's the website again?
The website is mortgagewithkrista.com.
Very cool. Krista, I want to thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You gave us so much information to help people, and I know that that's your vision.
Yeah.
Is to help people.
Passion.
And your mission. Yeah, and your passion. It's beautiful. Krista, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been great. It's my pleasure. I appreciate having you on. So listen, folks, this has been episode 38, Crista Lowrie. Don't forget to get a hold of her. You have the information now. And follow us on Spotify, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe on YouTube. Okay, go to the website, dangoldberg.com. It's all at the bottom. And remember this, use your mind. If you don't, others will. We'll see you next time on Digging for Gold.